A Michael J. Fox movie happens today. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is May 12th, 2023. It is the 132nd day of the year. There are 233 days left. It is the 19th Friday in the 19th week and the 54th day of spring. You got 40 days left until summer, and we are in heat wave mode here in Portland, Oregon area. Today is National Nutty Fudge Day. I mean, okay. I guess having Fudge Day wasn't enough. They needed to go with Nutty Fudge Day. Sweeten your taste buds with a dose of delicious nutty fudge. On National Nutty Fudge Day, every piece of fudge tastes a little better with a small sprinkle of nuts on top, doesn't it? That's what it says from their website. Oh my god. What is exact... You know what, never mind, it's Nutty Fudge Day. Let's see what else May 12th has given us. 1780, the Revolutionary War. The largest defeat of the Continental Army in Charleston, South Carolina, is taken by the British forces. You know, if they just would have had some nutty fudge, I'm sure everything would have worked out. 1846, the Donner Party departs from Independence, Missouri for California on what will become a year-long journey of hardship and possibly cannibalism. So we were always brought up to believe that during the Donner Party's ill-fated journey, cannibalism happened. The party got stuck in the Sierra Nevadas after making a few mistakes during the winter, and they didn't have enough supplies, and people were dropping off on a regular basis. Well, we were told that they started eating the people. I did research for this for, I don't know if it was this channel or something else, but that's just a theory. They're not really sure that this happened, but that's the legend. And if you ever want to read anything interesting, read about that. It is really, really interesting. All these people died and all this bad stuff happened, in my opinion, because of arrogance. The people leading this decided they knew a better path and people warned against it. And they still, they're arrogant. They knew what they were doing, not the locals. The locals didn't know what they were doing. Yeah, they got stuck in the Sierra Nevadas, not too far from present-day Reno, Nevada. 1926, the Italian-built airship Norge becomes the first vessel to fly over the North Pole. 1933, President Roosevelt signs legislation creating the Federal Emergency Relief Administration, the predecessor to the Federal Emergency Management Agency. 1937, the Duke and Duchess of York are crowned as King George VI and Queen Elizabeth of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland in Westminster Abbey. She was such an interesting woman. I mean, World War II and how long she stayed as the monarch of England, Great Britain, whatever you want to call it. It's a very interesting woman. 1942, World War II, the U.S. tanker SS Virginia is torpedoed in the mouth of the Mississippi River by the German submarine U-507. I brought this up before. There's a lot of attacks and incidents that happened in the United States during World War II. It just wasn't Pearl Harbor. We mentioned before that a Japanese submarine on a few occasions let balloons up in the air with basically fire bombs on them. They wanted to set the Pacific Northwest on fire. Sadly, it was too wet. Nothing really caught fire. At another point in Northern California, another submarine fired some shells on an oil refinery. Then, of course, the Aleutian Islands. The Japanese actually took over one of the remote islands in this Alaskan chain. People at a resort in New Jersey could see a U.S. Coast Guard ship fighting it out with a submarine just off the coast. Anyway, back to the Virginia. So around 10 p.m. on May 12, 1942, the Virginia came to the mouth of the Mississippi River without an escort, and it was unarmed. This was a tanker. They weren't really set up to be fighting any battles. Anyway, around 10 p.m., the Virginia was hit on the port side at the number 8 tank by one torpedo from the U-507, while lying stopped at the pilot buoy, 1.5 miles off the entrance of the southwest pass of the Mississippi River. 2 minutes later, she was hit on the same side in the engine room by 2 more torpedoes, which caused a fire in the stern that quickly spread out around the ship on both sides. The ship sank a few minutes later, with the superstructure remaining above the water. The master, 7 officers, and 33 crew members had no time to launch lifeboats, so they were forced to jump overboard. Only 2 of the officers and 13 crewmen that jumped from the windward side and swam away from the tanker survived. 2002, former U.S. President Jimmy Carter arrives in Cuba for a 5-day visit with Fidel Castro, becoming the first president of the United States in or out of office to visit the island since the Cuban Revolution. 2008, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement conducts the largest ever raid of a workplace in Pottsville, Iowa, arresting nearly 400 immigrants for identity theft and document fraud. This was our deep dive last year, but 2015, a train derailment in Philadelphia kills 8 people and injures more than 200. Movies released on May 12, 2023, today. Still, a Michael J. Fox movie. This is a biographical documentary filmed that chronicles the life and career of the Hollywood actor Michael J. Fox. The film explores his greatest success as well as his career lows while facing an incurable disease face to face. The film was directed by David Guggenheim. I just feel so bad about that guy. It's a shame. And you see him, it's sad because the guy has an illness and it's a disability. But every time I see him, I get anxiety because he can't quit moving. It's horrible. I feel so bad for him. He had the greatest line. He was doing like a Barbara Walters special years ago, and she said, "You did a lot of drinking in the early days of your career, and it was sort of becoming a problem. What was that all about?" He goes, "Well, I was insecure about talent. I didn't think I had any. I thought that I had gotten to this position as sort of a fluke." He said he felt that someday someone's going to knock on his door and tell him, "Hey, it's over. We made a mistake." And he said, "I knew when that day comes, I'm going to meet that guy drunk." Born on May 12, 1968, Tony Hawk. World's most popular and famous skateboarder, I would say. He did things in the early days that nobody else was doing. A lot of people do the same things he was doing back in the day, but he was like the first one to do a lot of different things. The guy's worth a whole bunch of money. Another interview I saw with him, he had gotten a check from Activision because they made the Tony Hawk video game, and he was given royalties for it. And he was all, I was expecting maybe $30,000 a year. They gave him some upfront money, but he's all, I'm going to get $30,000, $40,000 a year for a couple of years, and that'd be great. It did really, really well. I forget the exact number, but it was actually, he went to the office to talk about licensing for the second one, and they gave him his first commission check. I forget the exact number, but I think it was around $10 million. He was expecting $30,000. Easily one of the most popular games in the last 2 decades. Anyway, after striking out in a Little League game when he was like 12, he went off and hid in a ravine. He didn't want anyone to see him, and his dad finally came and got him, and he decided to give up baseball that day and start becoming a skateboarder. He became a professional and started getting paid at age 14. I have never met him, but everyone I've ever heard said he's just a genuinely nice guy. Died on May 12, 2001, Perry Como, prominent singer from the 1930s and 40s who is best known for his songs like Don't Let the Stars Get in Your Eyes and Catch a Falling Star. He was also a television personality who hosted his own weekly TV show. In his early teens, his main ambition was to become the best barber in the city, and by age 14, he was running his own barber shop. Perry Como died in his sleep on May 12, 2001 at his home in Florida, 6 days before his 89th birthday. He was reported to have had suffered from symptoms of Alzheimer's. He and his wife Roselle are buried at Riverside Memorial Park in Palm Beach County, Florida. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.